Hello, friends. Today we will tell you about a guy who was forced to wander the streets and struggle every day for survival, so as not to literally starve to death. This story is about a man who believed in his dream to the last and firmly went step by step to his goal. The hero of today's story is Eric White. He was an ordinary 15-year-old teenager. He lived without parents and was raised by his aunt, who, after an accident with Eric's mother, took him to her. As Eric later said, I loved my aunt. Even though I sometimes behaved like a fool, I was only 15 years old. Of course, I didn't listen and didn't want to learn. This is often the case when you are fed, dressed, and sleeping in a warm place. Everything changed in the spring of 2002. When Aunt Emmy died, it was then that the boy's life was turned upside down. Now it is not known exactly what happened. But facts are facts. The boy dropped out of school in the 9th grade and with reading skills at the level of an 8-year-old boy and was forced to move to the street. It was then that he realized what it was like to be an adult. When no one owed you anything but yourself, he had nowhere to go. He had to get food literally with a fight. He became a regular of garbage dumps, and the garbage cans of restaurants were only his salvation. Most of all, the homeless guy was depressed by the thought that he would spend the rest of his life on the street. Each new day did not bring anything good. I could barely spell my name, and it was out of the question to write it. Eric said later. Day after day, time flew by, and nothing changed in his life. Over time, the guy settled under the bridge. He was so depressed that he had already accepted the fact that he was a tramp. Every night, falling asleep on a cold cardboard cracking, he remembered the warm house in the face of his mother and aunt. It had been several months since he'd been outside, and it was getting close to winter. The evenings were getting closer, and at night the frost was piercing to the very bones. Eric decided to build a small booth under the bridge. He had no tools, just everyday's materials. With that, he began to improvise. By the way, he managed to make a booth. It was then that the guy realized that the construction process is very exciting. He even liked it. Although the guy had almost no education, but the work on creating his own home so fascinated him that over time he had a real passion. He dreamed of saving other people's homes and performing tasks that even professionals don't always perform, just for pleasure. On cold nights, he could spend hours thinking about solving complex problems. He had nothing but the firm conviction that if he did what he loved, he would not only succeed, but also bring great benefits. One day, Eric was standing by a noisy freeway. Thousands of cars sped past him, and each of them were people who were in a hurry to go home or to work. It was at this speed that life flew by. At this point, the young man firmly decided that he would be a construction worker. The next day, he started searching jobs. However, the interviews did not bring results. Any construction company needed qualified specialists, but not homeless dropouts. Eric continued to struggle to make ends meet. But he didn't give up on his dream. He was still full of ideas and zeal, but the opportunity to prove himself still did not appear. One day, luck finally smiled him. A construction company in a neighboring city was recruiting craftsmen. Eric immediately tried to get a job there. He was unexpectedly lucky. Not only did he get a job, but fate also gave him an excellent boss, who later realized that Eric was talented. This meeting will later help the director of the company, who risked taking a homeless person to work. Eric immediately went to Louisiana to start working as an assistant for a local construction company. The boss named Mike took the guy under his wing and helped him in every possible way. In turn, Eric tried his best. He unquestioningly performed all tasks, came to work before anyone else, and was the last to leave, often staying to work at night. In the first place, he simply had nowhere to go, and secondly, he really liked this job. 6 months later, the director even entrusted him with managing an entire team. This was a huge achievement for the guy. Finally, he was able to get a place to live and move out of the dirty street after a long time of wandering. Soon, Eric managed to meet the girl, and a year later, they were married. Sometime later, there was a firstborn in the young family, a beautiful daughter. Eric understood that he needed to feed not only himself, but also his family, so he needed to earn more. He did not want to stop there and planned to develop in new directions. He had a lot of ideas that the company just couldn't afford. In turn, the director understood that the guy had a lot of ambitions and therefore did not interfere with him and keep him in his company. Moreover, as a parting gift, he gave Eric a set of expensive tools and wished him good luck in his endeavors. As Eric White later recalled, "I've never seen the sea, but I've always wanted to go there. I had an idea in my head. What if I make small oases in the yard? And by the way, this idea was brilliant." The first such order he implemented in the backyard of his neighbors. He created a real piece of the sea, surrounded on all sides by white sand and filled with always clear azure water. I remember I offered them a rough version instead of the usual pool. Initially, they were skeptical. Then I said that it would cost them only the cost of materials. I would not take a penny for the work, and a few days later, the work began. What eventually turned out was so beautiful and brilliant that after a few weeks, the man was flooded with orders. The idea was so successful that there were many who wanted to get the same paradise place. Eric says that each created beach is unique and made with love. This is how he explained his success. The former homeless man started his own construction company, which is engaged in the installation of swimming pools and reconstruction of territories, called Cool Pools. This company proved to be very successful, and in 2018, he sold it for $2 million. But Eric did not just join the ranks of millionaires. Before selling his first brainchild for a huge sum, he founded his current campaign, which is engaged in a radical reconstruction of gardens and courtyards, turning them into real paradises. This company can install a traditional or fancy curved pool with a seating area in the backyard of your home. A dull landscape will turn into a beautiful, cozy playground, like on a postcard, and he is still developing the entire design himself. Eric specializes in the construction of reservoirs, ponds and pools, beaches, picnic and recreation areas, which can include barbecue areas, volleyball courts, umbrellas with tables and sun loungers, swings, and everything that the client can imagine in his fantasies. I've always dreamed of implementing such different and unique projects. Eric said in an interview, "It's all about finding a way to succeed. I just didn't have any other choice. My motivation was off the scale." Eric takes on difficult cases. For example, houses with swampy or flooded courtyards. He created special drainage systems that do not affect the neighbor's plots, builds platforms, and deals with water disposal. The former Tramps team consists of more than 100 employees and several branches across America, and his annual income exceeds $1 million. Now Eric is rich. He is 33 years old. He is an exemplary citizen and the head of the family. But as the man himself says, "When I was homeless at the age of 15, I had no idea who I would become. Now I have a beloved wife and daughters, a big house and an expensive car, and of course, the company, because I can do something I love." After Eric left his first job, he didn't stop being friends with his boss Mike. It so happened that later Mike was bankrupt during the crisis, and now he had to look for a job. Eric was happy to take him as a partner, as he did not forget the kindness shown to him many years ago. The man says each of us can change ourselves and our destiny. Eric White's life was not only a fairy tale. Before becoming a millionaire and the head of a happy family, he overcame a huge number of difficult obstacles that life has prepared for him. He had to live on the streets and try to earn money with an incomplete school education. But he did not give up and showed that with determination, ingenuity, and perseverance, you can turn the road of fate in a completely different direction. This story is the best proof of that. Of course, friends, there are many obstacles that can lead you astray, but still 90% of success depends only on ourselves. And that's all for today. Rate the success story of an ordinary tramp if you liked it. Also, write your opinion in the comments. Do you agree that everything depends on us? Bye!